John the Evangelist, the beloved disciple, witness of the Word, and theologian of the New Covenant. Origins and calling. John was born in Bethsaida in Galilee, the son of Zebedee and Salome, and brother of James, the Greater. Alongside Peter and Andrew, he worked as a fisherman on the Sea of Galilee until Jesus, coming from John the Baptist, invited them to follow him as fishers of men. John was the youngest of the 12 apostles and closest to Jesus. Early Christian writers called him the beloved disciple, a term found only in the Gospel of John. Called and life with Jesus, young and impulsive. Jesus nicknamed him and his brother Sons of Thunder. For their intensity, John emerged as one of Christ's intimate followers. Jesus personally summoned him, John 1:35-42. John was present during the Transfiguration, witnessed the resurrection of Jairus' daughter, and observed Jesus' agony in Gethsemane from a discreet distance. The greatest symbol of his affection was at the Last Supper. He leaned his head on Jesus' chest, John 13:23. He was the only disciple at the foot of the cross, where Jesus entrusted him with his mother Mary. Behold your son. John 19:26-27. Witness to the resurrection and founding of the early church. John was the first disciple to run to the empty tomb, though he allowed Peter to enter first out of deference. John 22-10. He played a pivotal role in the birth of the church, preaching alongside Peter in Jerusalem and supporting the unity of Jews and Gentiles. Author of the Johannine writings, the Gospel of John, traditionally attributed to the beloved disciple, with early support from Irenaeus, Justin, Clement of Alexandria, and Tertullian. John's Gospel is dated between 90 and 110 AD. It is theologically rich, filled with symbolic imagery and reflections on Christ's divinity. Its prologue identifies Jesus as the eternal Word made flesh. The Gospel contains 7 I am statements, I am the bread of life, etc., and explores themes of light versus darkness, life versus death, love versus belief. Its purpose is stated clearly, but these are written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. John 20:31. The letters of John. The 3 Johannine epistles 1, 2 and 3 John share vocabulary and themes with the gospel: love, fellowship, and union with God. Their author claims to be an eyewitness, indicating apostolic authority. Early church fathers attributed all these letters to the same author, although modern scholars note stylistic differences, suggesting multiple origins. Revelation, traditionally attributed to John of Patmos, identified with John. The Evangelist's revelation contains Christ's exalted visions, end-time imagery, final judgment, and the New Jerusalem. Eusebius and Irenaeus supported this attribution, though some modern scholars propose a different author. Revelation was written around 95 AD, during John's exile on Patmos, under Domitian. Exile and final years. John survived into old age, possibly around 90 to 100 years, becoming the last living apostle. He was exiled to Patmos by Emperor Domitian. After Domitian's death and nervous accession, John returned to Ephesus, where he matured spiritually and shepherded the local church. Eusebius and Jerome report that he died between 98 and 117 AD. Person and theological legacy. The beloved disciple. John is emblematic of love, an intimate bond with Christ so profound it made him a living testimony to Jesus' divine humanity. Theologian of the Logos. His gospel identifies Jesus with the Logos, bridging Greek philosophy and Jewish faith. Johannine theology affirms that Jesus is the eternal Word of God incarnate. Sacramental mystagogue. His writings emphasize key spiritual experiences. Rebirth, John 3. Baptism with the Spirit, John 20:22. Communion, John 6. And the imagery of vine and branches, John 15. His style is deeply symbolic and sacramental. Gospel of love and community. Love one another is a recurring command. John teaches that Christianity is about relational ethics and communal love. Eschatological vision. Revelation reveals God's ultimate victory, providing hope to persecuted Christians through vivid imagery. Throne seals. The new heaven and earth. John, in art, liturgy, and spiritual life. Iconography, often depicted with an eagle, symbolizing his lofty theology. Art portrays him as contemplative, beardless, youthful. Liturgical celebrations, honored on December 27th in Catholic, Anglican, and Lutheran traditions, and May 6th in the Roman, writing for his legendary martyrdom by boiling oil. Patronage and devotion. He is patron saint of theologians, writers, and contemplatives. His devotion to the Sacred Heart and purity influences Marian spirituality. Theological authority. Church fathers revered John highly. Irenaeus called him the living testimony of the tradition. Eusebius recognized that his authority in Eastern Christianity was indisputable, especially for preserving Johannine spirituality. His gospel remains celebrated as profoundly theological and devotional. Revelation remains an eschatological beacon to persecuted believers. Academic debates. While tradition attributes all Johannine works to John, modern scholarship notes possible multiple authors or circles behind the gospel and letters. A later date of composition 92-110 AD, hinting at communal development. Revelation's authorship might differ from the gospel and letters due to stylistic variances. Nonetheless, conservative scholarship generally maintains Johannine authorship of the gospel and epistles, while Revelation remains more debated. Legacy and spiritual applications. Love as Christian identity. John underscores that love is the fulfillment of the law, seeking union with the Father. John's Gospel reveals Jesus as the way to intimate communion with God. Hope amid darkness. Revelation invites believers to persevere and trust in God's final victory. Sacramental fellowship. His reflections on rebirth, the Eucharist, and compassion show the Church as a tangible sign of God's kingdom. Theological and cultural resistance. John confronted heresies like Docetism and ritualism, defending the faith amid cultural pressure. Conclusion. John the Evangelist stands at the heart of early Christian tradition. As Jesus' intimate disciple, faithful witness of the cross and resurrection, author of canonical writings, exiled leader, and apostle of love, his legacy embodies key themes: personal encounter with Jesus' love, theological depth, word, truth, life, communal fellowship, stable mandate, eschatological hope. Revelation. John is a model of contemplative and prophetic discipleship, inspiring generations to live faith with tenderness, depth, and hope. If this inspiring story resonated with you, share this video with someone who needs to know John the Evangelist. Turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and leave your like. We'll meet again in the next video with more inspiring stories like this one.